There's this show called Pagan Invasion, and it's so bad. It's like from the 80s, I think, or the early 90s, and it's about the Satanic Panic, where people were obsessed with the idea that like there are evil warlocks hiding behind every corner, and these warlocks were formed out by Dungeons and Dragons. Just innocent good kids playing D&D, and the very next day they murdered their families because they were really doing secret cult rituals in their D&D games, and now they are teaching that evolution is real. I mean, it's wild stuff, bro. So I want to listen to it. This is a whole TV series done in the 90s called Pagan Invasion. Let's give this a watch. Oh, crystal balls, people in masks in some kind of a weird, what is this, a woodchuck mask? I don't know what type of mask this is. Oh, heavy metal, you see, and he has a gun, and of course guns are bad at the time at least, no longer, of course. Oh my god, dude, look, they had the what's this? Look, this right here. Is this supposed to be mimicking like the A Clockwork Orange scene where the kid had his eyes like held open to watch propaganda and stuff? Is that what we're looking at? What the hell is this video? What am I looking at? Absolutely sick music though, right? Big fan.
Hello, I'm Chuck Smith.
And I'm Carol Matriciana. Welcome to this edition of The Pagan Invasion.
For nearly a century and a half, evolutionary thinking has made tremendous inroads into the hearts and minds of our scientific community. This is ironic considering the fact that science defines itself as the ability to observe and test things. Yet no one has ever observed evolution taking place. And there
My God, dude, it's so bullshit. Of course, evolution's been observed directly. I'll talk about that in just a minute. Just keep listening here.
There is no conceivable way in which evolution can be tested.
That's simply incorrect.
And as we have learned from a previous program, no hard evidence exists in the fossil record or anywhere for that matter.
Okay, this is going to be an evolution-heavy episode, apparently. We do have evidence, direct evidence for evolution. You know, these people claim that we can't possibly have direct evidence for evolution because it takes too long. But scientists have studied E. coli, and we got some direct evidence that way not long ago. I don't know, like a decade ago or something like that. Anyway, E. coli has really short generations. I think they reproduce it within like 36 hours or something like that. I don't remember. It's really, really fast. And we can watch E. coli gain entirely new capabilities over the course of 30 years. We have actually observed E. coli gaining new abilities, evolving. We've watched it evolve directly. So, yeah, it's just false what he's saying here about, like, evolution can't be proven. Yes, it can, and it has. I don't know that I don't think it had been directly proven at that time with E. coli, but it had been proven in other ways, beyond a shadow of a doubt. I guess these people are probably like, what do you call it, like, kind of like Kent Hovind's style of Christian believers.
Tested. And as we have learned from a previous program, no hard evidence exists in the fossil record or anywhere for that matter to prove that evolution has ever occurred. Still, the idea that non-living chemicals changed into life and that...
That's not evolution. That's abiogenesis. We're not talking about abiogenesis. I just finished writing a book titled Was Hitler an Atheist? It talks about religions during the Third Reich and how they work together. Catholics, Jehovah's Witnesses, and Protestants. And I even address the lies told by the evangelical world about Bonhoeffer. It's on Audible and Amazon. Okay, let's continue.
One life form can change itself into another life
That's evolution.
form continues to be presented to the public as proven scientific fact. To promote evolution as strictly science is especially deceiving when one considers its religious roots.
Okay, I don't care about its religious roots, but it doesn't have religious roots anyway.
Evolutionary thinking has been around for thousands of years, and it forms the basis of many of the world's pagan religions.
What?
While Charles Darwin is often referred to as the founder of scientific evolution, he himself was actually a theologian, having been trained in England's Cambridge University.
Dude, I love it. So it's so fascinating to me that half the time these people want Darwin to be religious, and the other half, they don't want him to be religious. So they just twist it around any way they want, whenever it's convenient. Charles Darwin believed in God. He was a believer. That's true. He did not do his atheistic things he did not do his evolution studies or whatever for atheistic reasons. Aside from that, evolution, the idea of evolution, it already existed before Darwin. He just put it into a nice, cohesive, clean little package and released it in book form. People understood heredity before Darwin came along. They just didn't realize that, like, it could be long form, like it could take, thousands of years and completely change everything.
Not in science, but in theology. Darwin was also a high-degree Freemason whose religious belief was in direct opposition to biblical creation.
Brother, what? Why do they hate Freemasons so much? Oh my God. Was he even a Freemason? Something tells me they're full of shit. They're already lying through like half of this. And I don't know why it matters if he was anyway.
John Dewey, along with other signers of 1933's Humanist Manifesto, were, by their own admission, members of a religious movement which they called humanism.
What? A Humanist Manifesto? The only place that I've ever heard of that was from this. I don't know if that's even real, but even if it is, you're telling me the guy that created the Humanist Manifesto believed it to be a religion, like a competitive religion to Christianity.
Their militant goal was to get their religious beliefs in evolution placed in science courses, and indeed all courses, throughout America's public school systems.
Brother, get help.
Today, many leading evolutionists do recognize the basic religious attributes of evolution and concede that their belief in it is, in essence, a religious one. British biologist L. Harrison Matthews writes that a belief in the theory of evolution is exactly parallel to a belief in special creation.
Are you kidding me?
With evolution merely a satisfactory faith on which to base our interpretation of nature.
Who the hell is this person? You know what I found when looking these people up? I found that they either didn't exist or they were really creationists. Let's see. L. Harrison Matthews. Or they never said it. That's another possibility. Okay, so Leonard Harrison Matthews was a British zoologist, especially known for his research and writings on marine mammals. Died in 1986, apparently, at 85 years old. Let me see if I can quote this. Satisfactory faith on which to base our interpretation of nature. Okay, I'm only seeing this from Christian sources. I was looking for a paper that he authored, or maybe a book of his, or anything at all. But I'm only seeing things from the Institute of Creation Research, Westlake Church of Christ. Wait, what's this? This is scag.gov. What is that? That's South Carolina Attorney General. Okay, here, look. I have a quote here, apparently, from the South Carolina Attorney General's office. And it's satisfactory faith on which... Here, this is the quote. Even the writer of the foreword of the 1971 edition of Darwin's Origin of Species himself, distinguished evolutionary biologist, has frankly recognized that evolution is simply a belief. This is on the Attorney General's website? Oh my God. Oh, it's from 1979. Wow. I guess it's historical. November 8th, 1979. That's nuts. Yeah, I'm sorry. I just don't believe it. I couldn't find that anywhere.
Physicist H.S. Lipson states, evolution became, in a sense, a scientific religion. Almost all scientists have accepted it, and many are prepared to bend their observations to fit in with it.
Okay, that's just not how science works. It's not how science works. And also, I don't care if anybody said that. I doubt they did, but I don't care. It's nonsense.
Dr. Colin Patterson, senior paleontologist of the British Museum of Natural History, and who was by all accounts one of the world's leading evolutionists, goes so far as to say that evolution is positively anti-knowledge.
What? The world's leading evolutionist says evolution is anti-knowledge?
With today's cry sounding even louder for separation of church and state, we have to ask why one religious thought, evolution, is being advanced with our tax dollar in the public schools and museums, while the other perspective, special creation, is being censored.
Because one is based on scientific evidence and the other is complete nonsense. That's why. The Scopes monkey trial famously established that evolution can be taught in schools because it's a scientific fact, I believe. I forget the whole thing with all of that, but yeah. These people are just completely full of shit all the way down.
In the year 1925, schoolteacher John Scopes was on trial for
Oh, you're talking about the Scopes monkey trial.
presenting evolution as science. Scopes was eventually found guilty, but not before a dangerous precedent was established. For the first time in a U.S. court of law, the existence of a creator God was challenged.
That's not what happened. Oh my God. All right, I'll let it play.
In July of 1925, the trial of the century took place in Dayton, Tennessee. For the first time in educational history in this land, the concept of a creator was totally challenged. This was the great turning point. Up till 1925, all of your science classes taught creation. Today, all that you have taught in the science classroom is evolutionism.
That's just false. Evolution is not all that's taught in a science classroom. Creationism is not all that's taught in a science classroom before like 1925 or whatever it was either. It's a ton of other shit that science covers other than evolution and creationism. Either way, I'm not sure that creationism was even taught in science classrooms. Was it? Maybe. I'm not sure is all. Maybe they just left the subject alone for all I know. Either way, people should go with what is supported by the evidence. That's what it's all about. What is supported by the evidence? Evolution is very clearly supported by the evidence.
John Scopes, a schoolteacher, was found guilty of violating Tennessee law, which prohibited the teaching of human evolution.
By the way, don't believe a word out of their mouths on this. Obviously, they lie through this whole thing, but this is a real trial that happened.
Less than 10 years later, by 1933, the Humanist Manifesto was signed by a small but powerful group of people
Small but powerful. You see, humanists, non-creationists are the most powerful, because creationists, they have to be the underdogs in every situation, of course.
presenting themselves as a non-profit religion. Their religion was humanism, and it swept through the educational system through the zealous pursuits of John Dewey, a socialist and first president of the American...
Not a socialist. Oh my God. You know what was happening at this time? In 1933, when they're saying all this played out, the National Socialists had taken control of the government pretty much, the Nazis in Germany. And from that moment forward, 1933, fear swept through everything, everywhere in the United States. McCarthyism gripped the country. Everybody was afraid of communists and socialists, and they were like synonymous, which is kind of funny because, well, you know what? Never mind. It's ironic, trust me. Anyway, the point is, Socialist is a slur from back then. I don't know if these people were socialist. I have no idea. Maybe. I don't know if this is even real. It's very possible, nay, likely, I would argue, that this whole thing about these people is made up entirely. John Dewey is a small but powerful, or part of a small but powerful group.
American Humanist Association. Today, public schools are the seminaries for Dewey's religion of humanism.
Public schools are the seminaries of humanism.
And its doctrine of evolution dominates the educational system.
Now, today we do have religion being taught in our public schools. The fundamental tenet of humanism, for instance, as listed right in the Humanist Manifesto, tenet number 1, religious humanists regard the universe as self-existing. It was not created.
Is that accurate? Do humanists view it that way? No, humanism is just the belief that all life matters and should be cared for, right? Humanism, we value human life above all else, pretty much, right? What is humanism? I just want to make sure I'm right on this. A non-religious philosophy that focuses on human values and ethics and the idea that humans have the ability to shape their own lives. I have no idea what they're talking about here. The Humanist Manifesto, John Dewey. American Humanist Association. Wait. Oh my God, check that out. The American Humanist Association is apparently, was it created by John Dewey? Wow, check that out. I have a copy of the manifesto here. Yes. Oh my God. All right, let's just look at the manifesto then, shall we? No need to wonder, just loaded up our question gun. Let's go enter hunting, as they say. Well, let's see here. The manifesto is product of many minds, designed to represent a developing point of view, not a new creed. Wow, that's an awkward thing to put right at the front of this for the satanic panic people, for pagan invasion, right? Oops. The time has come for widespread recognition of radical changes in religious beliefs throughout the modern world. The time is past for mere revision of traditional attitudes. Science and economic change have disrupted the old beliefs. Religions the world over are under the necessity of coming to terms with the new conditions created by vastly increased knowledge and experience. Wow, that is needlessly complex. All right, here are the points. First, religious humanists regard the universe as self-existing and not created. Sure enough. Absolutely, they're correct on that one. Second, humanism believes that man is part of nature and that he's emerged as a result of a continuous process. Yeah, totally. So they accept evolution. Third, holding an organic view of life, humanists find that the traditional dualism of mind and body must be rejected. Yeah, I don't know what that means. I'm trying to figure that out. Fourth, humanism recognizes that man's religious culture and civilization, as clearly depicted by anthropology and history, are the product of a gradual development due to his interaction with his natural environment and with his social heritage. The individual born into a particular culture is largely molded by that culture. Okay. We're convinced that the time has passed for theism, deism, modernism, and several varieties of new thought. It follows that there will be no uniquely religious emotions and attitudes of the kind hitherto associated with the belief in the supernatural. Okay. Yeah, so that's the basic breakdown. It was 1933 by the New Humanist is when that was written. All right. Wow, I didn't know the American Humanist Association was so old. Jeez.
Tenet number 2, man is the product of a long natural process, that is evolution.
A very few people originally got control of our education system in this land.
They think that the American Humanist Association has control of the education system in the country. This is like delusion to a degree that I cannot even touch. Holy Christ.